Hey there, listeners. This is Matthew with another episode of Conference Talk Shorts. I want you to remember the last time you were in the presence of an apostle of Jesus Christ. Perhaps it was in General Conference, or maybe Elder Holland presided at your most recent stake conference. Whatever the case may be, what was the reaction of the saints when that apostle entered the room? Of course, we know the answer is we all instinctively, naturally, without any signal from whoever's conducting, stand to our feet. The atmosphere of the room changes, and we find ourselves compelled to stand because of the honor and respect that we have for the priesthood and the office that general authority bears. In April 1993, when I was but a little boy, President Nelson describes a time when he was a little boy, the first time that he met one of the general authorities. He said, quote, "It was a feeling beyond description. Though I was but a boy, immediately, almost instinctively, I rose to my feet. Even now, I feel that same way when one of the brethren enters the room." Close quote. Now, if we fast forward 26 years, President Nelson is going to say something very similar, but it's not about general authorities this time. When speaking to the women of the church in the women's session in April 2019 in a talk he called Spiritual Treasures, after describing the wonderful and amazing priesthood power of righteous Latter-day Saint women, he made this observation, quote, "When a man understands the majesty and power of a righteous, seeking, endowed Latter-day Saint woman, is it any wonder that he feels like standing when she enters the room?" Close quote. This jumps out at me for several reasons. First of all, there are some very obvious temple references going on in this quote. But second of all, tying this quote back to what he said in April 1993, it is apparent that President Nelson views women in much the same way that he views the apostles of the church. Someone to be honored, respected, and stand when they enter the room. In the olden days, we called this common sense. Nowadays, we call this outdated chivalry. Now, I will clarify, you can still find resources on the church website suggesting that men do indeed exactly this, open doors and stand when a lady enters the room. But in modern society, it is very frowned upon. In fact, if I were to go into my next work meeting and stand when my female coworkers enter the room, I would get a lot of strange glances, I would get some very pointed questions, and then probably face discipline from human resources. This is not necessarily a suggestion to try this in the world at large, where people will take offense and cause problems. However, it does seem to be a prophetic invitation to the brethren of the church to try and maybe bring chivalry back, at least back into our chapels, for example. Next time you're in branch council, state council, ward council, and the Relief Society president or the Young Women's president or the primary president enters the room, would it be worth it trying to stand? If you're in a leadership position, would it be worth it to try and set an example to all the other priesthood brethren of how we can follow this invitation from a prophet of God? More importantly, isn't this something that we can apply in our homes? Brethren, husbands, I'm talking to you. When your wife gets home, do you stay on the couch? Do you stay at your computer? Or do you run up to greet her? Honor her, respect her, let her know you're grateful that she's home. Ask if there's something you can help out with, and show her that you value the position and the part that she plays, even look up to it and honor it. Just a thought. I'll leave that with you guys and catch you next time.